you still got us all beat, because how many kids you got?
So I got 3 girls and a stepson. So total 4.
Damn. Yeah, you right there.
Yeah,
And the
you got
girls,
twins too, right?
yeah, I got twins as well. It
Yeah.
was something in that San Pedro water got
I
us out here.
know. That's dope, man. Yo, I was thinking about when I was about to do this interview. Do you remember when we went to the club and I wore my mom's shirt, a see-through shirt to the club? It was like a white see-through. I had a white beater underneath, and we were just in the club just chilling. And I didn't think nothing was wrong with it until some dude walked up and was like, "Hey man, where you get that shirt from?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh shit, this is a Forever 21 shirt."
That is hilarious. I do remember that. I mean, we used to dress crazy, man. And the craziest part to me is how many like different phases and chapters we went through. Because I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, when you were young, what you used to do? And I was like, well, when I moved to San Pedro, my whole life became about basketball, just being outside. And I'll never forget, y'all dudes used to break into the gym and play all night. And that was like, oh, these dudes ain't playing. And we turned into like a little basketball gang that was out there getting it in. And the funniest but not funny story, anybody listening to this is probably gonna be like, y'all was some assholes when I tell this story. But do you remember how we used to go out late at night and just rip people's basketball courts down?
I do.
Bro, when I think about that now as a dad, I'm like, yo, the devastation I would have if somebody came by my house and broke my kids' toys and then ran. Right? We was shady as hell.
Yeah.
Shady as hell.
I don't know what made us even do that or even whose idea that was, but that was just adolescents being young and dumb and
100%. I think it was because Shaq at the time was breaking backboards, and all of us wanted to feel like we had that kind of power. And then it was also like the because young boys don't have rites of passages these days. Like they don't have, like back in the day, like way back in the day, they would take boys our age out into the woods, and we would have to go through a rites of passage to become a man. But at that time, shit, I don't think any of us really had dads that were like super present. And so we was just out there fathering ourselves and doing crazy shit, essentially.
Yeah. I think the only like consistent male figure at that time was probably Gino.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? For me, that was it. It was Gino. Other than that, it was Dean at the boys club when we went to the boys club.
That dude.
But that was, when we was hooping, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I was thinking about, I was like, dang, when was the first time that I met Preston? And I remember it was my 10th grade, that summer going to the 11th at the boys club. I think you had just moved to San Pedro, and I think Ali he went to Cornell to do a summer program. And I don't remember exactly where Osa was, but that summer, that's all we did was hoop.
All day, every day.
And I remember seeing you in the boys club, and I was like, yo, he hooped just like I do. Like he with it, like he dedicated. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just latch on. And from that day on, that's all we did. Basketball was our life back then. You know what I mean?
Yo, let me just tell you, and I'm about to tell your viewers a story about you and how you saved my life. And I don't even know if you remember this. You have to remember it because it's such a stupid and funny and crazy ass story. So one of us got the idea that we were going to do a run out on a pair of shoes down at the bottom of San Pedro. You remember this story?
Yes, I do.
Because you really got in trouble. Like you got your ass handed to you. But I'm gonna lead them through it. So a run out, for anybody who doesn't know, is like you go into a liquor store or you go into a shoe store, you try on some shoes, you go in with some dirty ass shoes that you don't mind leaving there, and you put on some new shoes and you run out as fast as possible. And so it was me, Donte, Arthur, and was it anybody else or was it just us three?
I think it was just us three. It may have been Osa.
Maybe. Yeah. Your mom had an Explorer at the time. Am I right? I'm just pulling right now.
Yeah.
It was like a tan Explorer. And I don't know who came up with this idea. This is like middle of the day. Maybe it was summer. I don't know what the fuck we was thinking, but this is just dumb when I think about it now. So we rolling through San Pedro, bumping hip hop, rapping and shit, trying to be tough. And we get the idea. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom where the ports are, kind of by the projects. And we're going to steal some shoes out of this. Do you remember the name of that shoe store?
Chuck Taylor's. I don't remember the name of the store, but it was some Chuck Taylor's.
Bro. So I will never forget this. We pull up and I guess me and did you even get out of the car or you just stayed in the car?
No, I was driving. So I think it was me and you that stayed in the car. And I think it was Arthur and Osa that went into the store.
Yep. But then they took too long. And I remember going in the store. Hold on. It's the internet is shaky right now. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. And so at one point I go in the store to see why they stalling, and basically everybody gets the signal and we go running out of the store full speed. Whoever's listening to this or watching this, just imagine three little crispy ass black dudes running full speed across a road with some brand new shoes on and dive into this Ford Explorer, right? Now, where we messed up, and I don't know how this happened, but there was an undercover cop or something. Is that right?
No, I think it was just good Samaritans that just seen three kids running out of the store with a guy like chasing them. That guy was chasing them. And once you guys jumped in my mom's car, I took off down the road. I just took off.
So this Samaritan is chasing us all over San Pedro, right? And we trying to shake him. And at one point we're like, yo, I think he called the cops or something happened. But basically at that point we were like, yo, we pretty much screwed. Like everybody going down at this point, right? And I think you pulled down an alley and you were like, yo, or we made the decision that we're going to split up. So all three of we were going to go in different directions. So you stay in the car, I jump out in one direction, Arthur jumps out in another direction. And you got to tell the rest of the story because I don't know what happened after that other than you saved my life because you didn't tell on me. So what happened?
So once you guys got out the car, because it was the thought was they're chasing the guys who actually stole the shoes. If we get rid of the guys who stole the shoes, they'll stop following the car. So you guys jump out of the car and I'm still driving and they're still chasing me. And I'm like, what in the, like, why are they still chasing me? I don't have the shoes. I don't have the shoes. So I decided to go down this bumpy road. It was like a bunch of holes in it. And they're in a Volkswagen, like a legit Volkswagen. And so I'm like, I'm in the Explorer. I'm up higher. I can get through this alley quick.
Yeah. So
I go through the alley. They're having a hard time bumping through the alley. And I shoot out the alley, go through this other alley, but it's a dead end.
Oh yeah.
And I get stopped at the dead end. They pull behind me. I'm begging them, man, please, I don't have the shoes. Let me go. I don't have the shoes. Long story short, the police end up finding us. They came with their guns drawn, put me on the ground, everything. They take me to jail. And they're like, where the shoes at? I'm like, I don't know. They threw the shoes out. They threw the shoes out. He was like, all right, take me where the shoes are. So I take them to the alley where we dumped the shoes. They get the shoes back. And then they were like, who are those guys you with? I was like, I don't know them. I just met them today. We were just playing basketball. I don't know who they were. you got the shoes. And then they take me back to the store, and then they were like, hey, do you, was this the guy who stole? And the store owner was like, no, that's not him. And so once I didn't tell of who the guys were or who I was with, they let me go. And the police officer, man, I was so happy. He was like, you know what? Because this is your mom's car, I know she works hard. We're not going to impound the car. So they call my mom. She comes get the car. And they pretty much, I go down to the jail. I sit there for a couple of hours. Then they let me go. But I was like, man, what in the fuck? I was like, man. And I don't know, man. That was just some craziness that we did that day, man. I don't know if you knew, but that was my first day having my license. No. The very first day I got my license was that day. That's why I'll never forget it.
Oh my God. Yeah. I literally hid in somebody's backyard for like maybe an hour. And then I found this girl who I knew from San Pedro and knocked on her door and ran up in her spot. And until like 7 p.m. that night, I was in her apartment. Helicopters going by, the whole thing. They looking for us. I'm like, no, that's what it was. I ran into a church. You pulled in behind in the alleyway. I jumped out and ran into a church. And then I got to this girl's house. But the craziest part, and this is the funniest thing, is when you know you got Black parents. Because in my mind, I was like, if this dude tells, if somehow, some way my mom finds out, I'm going to get my ass annihilated. So all like the whole night and the next morning, I was just like, please God, if you just get me out of this one, just don't have Chris, don't have Donte's mom call my house, please. I was looking at that phone like, oh my God. And I'll never forget. I was like, he didn't tell on me. Yeah,
that was as kids, that was what you just was taught. You know what I mean? Don't tell your friends. If you get caught, then you just got to take the blame. You know what I mean?
Bro, that shit was crazy. Absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah. Thank you for tapping in with us. In order to see more clips like this, check out this video here or check out this one here.